All right, hello and welcome to the Spotter Stand. Coming at you live this week from Road America. Once again in the booth, we've got BSR Hot Rod, BSR Pockets, and BSR Chevy Chase joining us for the show. How you guys doing this week?
What up, everybody? Doing great.
Good after morning.
Proud to be here making Road America great again.
Well, we had a different track in just about every series this week, and Cup Series was off, so we chose Road America for the theme this week, seeing as how we did just finish up the second segment in the Xfinity series, and we'll be heading into the chase next week in Xfinity. Road America, great track. We had a lot of fun racing there this week. Uh, got no picks really to share with you this week. Nothing really uploaded to Facebook, nothing new going on. So we'll jump right into Wednesday night at the Truck Series. We
User
raced
left your channel.
Canadian Tire Motorsports.
Oseport.
Mosesport, tough track, real tough track. We had a
User
pretty good
joined your
race there.
channel.
We had a pretty good long green flag run or two during that race. Of course, it's tough to keep it on the track at Mosesport, so we had a little bit of that. People getting off track here and there, a little bit of trouble, but at the end, it was HB Hardy and that number 30 machine that brought home the victory at Canadian Tire Motorsport.
Yes, good win for HB. Hold on 1 second here. I'm having a little difficulty.
Come on, Larry.
Well, as you know, this is the chase already in this Cup Series. We are now 4 races in to the chase in the Cup
Yes,
Series.
Truck Series.
yes, 4 races in the Truck Series. HB with a great win. Kilojoules, BSR Chevy Chase, Scar, and Mr. Steve Looney brings up the top 5.
That sounds like a who's who of road racers right there. Congratulations to HB Huggy Bear, Boris Hardy on the win. Congratulations to everybody else. Let me tell you something. That's a tough track right there. It's possibly the toughest track we run. I mean, most people really dislike Sonoma and because it's so difficult. But this may be the most difficult track that everybody enjoys running, the road course people and everything like that. Because let's be honest, some people despise road course racing. A lot of these guys are oval track racers. Period. They won't even come to a road course race because it's just the difficulty level is just so much higher than what we normally do in oval tracks. And this week was one of the most diverse and interesting weeks on the schedule, and it was a lot of fun with just the different tracks and everything that we've done this week. And that that Mosesport, man, that's a tough track with those elevation changes and that very severe sharp right hand turn. I mean, driving up on the curb just like running up on the sidewalk. I mean, that's a heck of a track. It's huge. There's a lot of places to get off the track and overdrive it, but it's no surprise that the road specialist there, HB Hardy, pulls off the win. So it was a great showing by everybody and a great race.
Yeah, HB had a great race. I don't believe he made maybe some very small minor mistakes. Other than that, he ran a nearly perfect race, dominated, stayed up the front almost the entire race. And hats off to him for that. Just staying on the track for that entire race. That's a feat right there. Let's take a look at the points as they stand 4 races in, 6 races to go in this truck chase. I'm still at the top of the board up there with Terry Scott in second place, down by 10. We've got Axel Foley in third, down by 14. Look at there, Monty Keller has moved up 2 spots to take over fourth, down by 15. And BSR Brain Fade dropped 1 spot, still in the top 5, down by 16. And we've got Chevy Pockets only down by 17, 18. Still pretty close up there in the top 7 with 6 races to go.
I can breathe a little bit. I still got a lot. What about my man Monty Keller in the 4th place, man? I tell you, the guy comes in. He's a great sportsman, great determination, never gives up. Races good, races hard, races clean. Look where he's at, 4th place. That's man, I can't hardly believe we're already 4 races into the truck chase. Chase for the drunkencowjerky.com Truck Series Championship. That's said that I was just like, damn, we're already 4 races in. Where
Yeah,
we
I
let's look at that schedule and kind of look and see where we're headed after next week and the following weeks in that series.
we
We're
are
off
off
next week.
for the next 2 weeks, I believe, in that
Yes.
series.
Yep.
We will be back early September for the next race in the Chase in the Truck Series.
So yeah, we got the holiday weekend coming up. Then
Yes.
that series, yes, this is the Truck Series is the one that doesn't have nowhere near as many races as our other series. So we have those off weeks thrown in there, which we go out and get our dirt cars because sim racers love to race, and we don't take any off weeks, so to speak, very often throughout 10 months of the year. We very rarely have any off weeks. So every once in a while we'll enjoy an off week like the Labor Day weekend coming up here, which is that's a nice little spot on the calendar for everybody to take a pause, get a little rest, get everything on your mind that you're going to need, kind of refresh and get ready and reboot and get ready for these chase series that are fixing to kick off in full force here very soon. So that's this schedule. We're 4 races in, so even though there's going to be a couple of off weeks there, it's going to get very interesting with this schedule and as tight as these points are.
Are you looking at the schedule there, Larry? I do believe the
Yes.
next race is Las Vegas. Am I right?
That is correct. Las Vegas is September the 12th. So we are off the next 2 weeks. Speaking of being off for the holiday, Mr. Pockets, are we switching the Xfinity from Friday to Wednesday?
I
Have you
don't
made a
think so.
decision with that?
I don't think so. I think it's
So the dirt will be on this week.
I believe so. Unless something happens here in the next 24 hours where I can announce that and get everybody on board, make sure everybody gets the information. I think it's going to be safe to say that we're going to go ahead and keep that race on Friday because it was been scheduled for Friday. I wish we would have thought of it a little earlier because we don't really like racing on a Friday night of a big holiday weekend. But I've talked to several people, and most people are, the majority of people who are in the hunt for the points in that series and everything like that are dedicated to that series, and they'll be there. So we're gonna look at it that way, that the people who are really competing for a spot in that series has dedicated themselves to show up on Friday night, even though it's the Friday night before the long weekend, and we're going to stick with that schedule. I'm almost 100% positive. If anything changes, I will make sure to let everybody know.
Well, that is great news to me. That means Wednesday we'll be headed to Brewerton for the dirt. Yeah.
Yes, and that's the Drunken Cow Jerky Dirt Series.
Yes, sir.
That's we got a little series going on the Drunken Cow Jerky Dirt side, along with the Voiles Trucking Dirt Racing. So we have 2 different dirt series, and we've got the Voiles Trucking and we've got the Drunken Cow Jerky side of dirt racing. So we do dirt over here at Bomb Squad Racing.
Now, as we all know, we were off on Thursday night. There was no Cup Series race. I thought we'd go ahead and throw this Thursday night graphic up here for you so we can at least let you know where we're going to be this coming up week. I believe we've already talked about this track several times. It's not a lot of people's favorite track. We're going to be at Darlington this coming up week on Thursday night in the Cup Series.
The Lady in Black.
Yes, with
Yes.
just just 2 races to go in this series before the chase starts. Darlington and then Indy. Great track to end the segment in at Indianapolis. And then we will be heading into the chase for the Cup Series.
Darlington. We said a lot about it last week. I'm going to say it again. This is going to be fun because this track right here is no joke.
Double header, Thursday and Friday at the Lady in Black.
Yeah, both series roll into Darlington. And that, you know, that another thing about Darlington that's really exciting for racers and, you know, even us sim racers is the history behind that track, man. I mean, that is you look across the board at all the tracks that we go to. I mean, even Martinsville, which is Martinsville and Bristol, you know, those are 2 very historic tracks. But Darlington is, man, I mean, that's why they put Darlington on a special. They made sure to put that on Labor Day weekend because that is one of the most historic, storied tracks on the schedule. And if you've ever raced on Darlington, you'll understand why it is so iconic because there is no other track on the schedule that even remotely. It's almost like when they were making that track, they said, hey, let's do something really crazy. And that's exactly what they did. And it produces great racing. It produces very difficult racing. But that right there is what separates the different levels of that you have in racing. Get to a track like that, different philosophies and the different strategies and stuff like that all come into play at a track like Darlington, and we're very excited to be heading to Darlington for these races.
Yeah, speaking of doubleheader and Friday night, this week on Friday night it was Road America, my favorite road course. We had a great race at Road America. Once again, you know, several of the road course ringers showed up. HB Hardy was there, and of course it was Kilojoules that brought home the victory.
Yes, Kilojoules with a great win. HB Hardy 2nd, Texan 3rd, Steve Looney 4th, and the Brain Fade rounds out top 5.
Yeah, that PPR 2 racing league over there with Danny Hardy, Kilojoules, and HB Hardy. They've got those road courses down, and it's sent everybody back to the drawing board and their driver's notes to see what they can do to improve on road racing. And you know, that's the spirit of competition right there. Some people focus a little more on certain disciplines of racing, and it causes everybody to play a little bit of catch up. And they done a great job. KJ did a great job. That's a hell of a race. Road America, also my most favorite road course, and it just produces such great racing. I mean, you look at that race overall with the amount of cautions or lack of that's a true testament to that track, because, you know, a lot of leagues don't run with the yellow flags on because they'll have too many yellow flags, but we have a lot of confidence in the skill level of our drivers, and we always run the race just like they do in the real world as opposed to the sim world. And that race turned out to be great. I mean, you're going to have cautions at road courses. There's no doubt about it because of the closeness, proximity of the cars, the speeds, the everything combined in there. Just you're going to have mistakes, accidents are going to happen in road course racing. But I was very proud of that race, and I thought the whole time, you know, we get on those long green flag runs, and you think to yourself, that's got everything to do with the track and the level of skill that the drivers have here. But the track is designed to be able to race each other hard and fast, and that's the way Road America is. That's why it's a lot of people's favorite.
Now you guys will have to excuse me there with that, getting that render up. I don't know what it is that I clicked on, but it's the second time it's done that to me, where it's like it grabs whatever I'm holding on to, and instead of letting me turn off the layer above, it just keeps moving
User
it
joined your
around.
channel.
Yeah, I finally got a hold of it though, and we've got the render up there. I've got everything working good, so the rest of this hopefully will go nice and smooth for us. Did you already give us the top 5 in that, Larry? Probably so. While I
Yep.
was messing with the broadcaster here. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Well, as you guys know, we did finish up segment number 2 in this Xfinity series just last week at Road America, and we will be heading into the chase next week with Darlington being the first race of the chase. Let's check out how the points stand at the end of the second segment. It was BSR Terry Scott that took the top spot, with Chevy Chase in second place down by 10, Brain Fade in third down by 35, myself in fourth down by 56, and Hot Rod took fifth place down by 64. Nice job there, Hot Rod, picking up that extra bonus point before the chase.
Yes, thank you.
Great job, Larry. Larry lands squarely in the top 5 and knocks me out of it. Don't turn your back on me. Still pissed off about it.
You got the 5th overall, so don't turn your back on me because I'm coming.
Well, no, that's the one. You know, with the way we do these bonus points and all that stuff and everything, that's you know, the system is designed the way we think it should be to give credit to the people who show up, but not penalize to the people who have to do other things that their real life requires them to do. And but I tell you, I look at those overall standings amongst the guys that show up at the most dedicated sim racers in this sim that show up. That's the standing I like to look at, and just to even be close or associated with that level of driver and the dedication they have, I'm proud to be in that fraternity with those guys. And that's the win, lose, or draw, no matter where I shake out. I know that every week I run with the top sim racers in the business. These guys are more dedicated than anybody out there. This is what they do. This is what we do. I can include myself with they. And like I said, just an outstanding group of guys are always willing to help. And I can just look at that list and see that I have competed with the best in the business.
Now, I didn't load up the overall standings here, but your top 5 are exactly the same in the overall, except Hot Rod and Pockets were switched around. Hot Rod was sitting just outside the top 5, and Pockets did make it into the top 5 in the overall. And we do have all the bonus points. Larry and I got together yesterday, and we added up everybody's races, see who made the allotted amount, and after we get through the week here, we'll show you how everybody's going to stand going into the first race of the chase.
That's going to be exciting. We've been talking about that for a long time, so we're going to actually get to see it in its true form here.
Yeah, and there are a little bit, you know, the truck series only had the one segment before the chase, so you know there weren't nearly as many bonus points, whereas with the Xfinity we had 22 races altogether, or no, 23 races altogether before we went into the chase. So there was not only your victory bonus points and segment bonus points, plus the points that were handed out for, you know, Daytona and a couple of the other races. You had a possibility of 23 bonus points to be added for however many races you attended. So you know they are quite a bit. They're quite a bit different than they were going into the truck, as we'll see. Let's check out Friday night. After the Xfinity Series, we run the Boyles Trucking Friday Night Dirt Series. Just finished up a season in this series as well, 10-race season at the Devil's Bowl. And this week, you're not going to believe it, it was BSR Chevy Chase brought home the victory at the Devil's Bowl. Great job, Chevy.
Yes, that was a big fan favorite win, Chevy. Congratulations on your first dirt win. BSR Hot Rod second, Brian Boyles third, Eli fourth, and Brain Fade rounds out top 5.
Yeah, I got to honestly say I never thought that was going to happen. Absolutely never going to happen. It would have to be a cold day, you know where, for that to happen, but it happened.
Hell, I don't know why you thought it wasn't going to happen. You told us the week before that you had figured something out, and by golly, you did. I'm gonna tell you.
And he earned that one. He didn't just get lucked into it. He absolutely earned that one.
Yeah, well, I wasn't. I figured something out, but I'm not as consistent in this as I am in the rest of the series, and well, I got consistent.
Did it just in time too at the last scheduled race of that that we've done 2 series there, 10 races apiece, where we wanted to try out and see what it would be like to go back to the same track every week, like the real dirt track racers do, the real late model dirt track racers do, and that the concept and idea worked out great. And you see how that, just like in real racing, you've got a guy that shows up every week and he learns, and he keeps trying to find those little grooves and those little special things that you can do to help you become successful. And you were a great example of that. I mean, you improved from, if you look over the 20 races, it was just every week you just seen those little bit of improvements that it took you 20 weeks to get there, but you got there. And the one takeaway for me personally is that your ass knocked me completely out of the top 5 in points, and I don't get no damn jerky. So congratulations.
Well, I guess justice was served last night then, right?
That's kind of what that was the one saving grace of my terrible week, was last night, and we will talk about that, I promise you.
Yeah, you've got some jerky coming, just not from this series.
That's right.
Let's check out the points here at the end of a 10-race series. It was BSR Hot Rod that took home the championship, and Chevy Chase with that victory moves up 2 spots to take over second place, down by 43. Got Eli 114 right in there in third place, down by 49. And Pockets, you didn't get knocked out of the top 5. You're in 4th place there, down by 50. You got knocked out of the top 3.
I got knocked out of the jerky, is what I got knocked out of. The
Brian Boyles,
drunkencowjerky.com.
our sponsor of this series, BSR, Brian Boyles, rounds out the top 5, down by 57.
I tell you, that's another driver that just progressed over the course of these 20 races, just progressed unbelievably. I'll tell you, I'm kind of conflicted here, because I really hate leaving the Madness in Mesquite series to venture out to the other parts of the country with this dirt racing series that we got going. But I am excited to leave there, but I really like that series. I wanted to be able to maybe get a little better there, and but we got to keep this thing fresh. We got to keep it moving, and we want it to be realistic. So we are planning, and we are moving this series, and we are traveling from the bottom of this country, great state of Texas, and we are headed to the Empire State, where, believe it or not, most people think about dirt track racing. They think that's a southern thing. I will tell you this for sure. There are a ton of great dirt tracks and lots of dirt track racing action in New York State, the Empire State. And we are going to pay homage to all the great dirt racing up there with the Yankees. And we're headed to New York State to do some dirt track racing in the Voiles Trucking Late Model Dirt Track Series.
Yes, the Northeast has more dirt tracks per capita than any other part of the United States, Pockets.
And I knew that racing, all forms of racing, are huge in Pennsylvania. And over the course of years of learning or knowing about racing, I knew that New York was a huge hotbed for racing. And but the dirt track racing up there they've got some great tracks. We've searched the country over. There's a lot of places, and geographical areas that we could focus on to move these series around to. But the second most obvious place that, as we looked around, the first most obvious place, the first one that hit our radar was the Empire State, New York State. We looked at the tracks, we looked at the availability of tracks that we have to simulate, and that is where we are headed. It's going to be something very exciting, and this is going to be a little bit longer series than just 10 weeks because we wanted to showcase a lot of these tracks and go back to these tracks more than just one time, so that maybe in one race you can learn something and apply it to the second race in a series. And it will be, I'm really excited about this series because of the different tracks and going back to each track 2 times. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there's 7 tracks. We will visit 2 times each on the schedule for a total of 14 tracks, and that will take that dirt series into the end of the year.
Yep.
And it's going to be called Empire State Dirt Track Championship.
Now, is this series going to kick off next Friday night, or are we going to have an off week?
No, we're next Friday. This Friday we're off. Next Friday it will start up.
Yes, absolutely. We're taking the Labor Day weekend off. Let everybody get their cars and equipment ready and get everybody shuffled up and headed towards New York. And we are fixing to camp out in the Empire State for 14 straight weeks.
Well, looking forward to that. A little bit of a change in the dirt series. I know everybody's had a lot of fun running at the Devil's Bowl for a few straight seasons. Everybody's really gotten used to that track and had a lot of fun there. But hopefully all the racing that's been done at that track has gotten a lot of guys accommodated to this dirt racing. And as we move on to these other tracks, we're going to have just as much fun and a lot of great racing as we move on here.
Yes, and here's the other thing: the guys that have run the Drunken Cow Jerky Dirt series will have seen these tracks already. They're all in that. They're all in that Drunken Cow Jerky Dirt series. So a lot of these tracks won't be first time looks. Some of them will be, because we'll get to them before we get to them in that series. So it'll be fun. It'll be a really good series.
Well, let's move on to Saturday night.
Oh, we're going to Saturday night? Yeah, let's go to Saturday night.
Yeah, I think Momo's ready for Saturday night too. As we know, we wrapped up the team series last week, and Teriyaki was the champion of season 35. We've got 2 of their drivers in here with us tonight, BSR Pockets and BSR Momo. Welcome, Momo.
Thank you very much.
And during this off time, we had a little special event this past Saturday night. It was the Drunken Cow Jerky Saturday Night Shootout, and the top 3 drivers, top 3 finishers, were all awarded some great Drunken Cow beef jerky. And in this shootout, it was BSR Pockets who managed to bring home the victory, win that top spot and that top jerky prize in this race. We also had BSR Brain Fade came in second place. Going to get to bring home some great beef jerky. And BSR Momo, the other Teriyaki team member, brought it home in third place, and he's going to bring home some jerky as well. You want to tell us a little bit about the prizes that we're giving away for these top 3 and what you decided to do with yours, Pockets?
Momo, what race was Texan at?
I don't know. I feel Momo finished second.
Yeah.
Well, I asked you earlier, and I asked
He don't remember.
I also asked Hot Rod earlier who was second, who was third, and they both told me Brain Fade was second.
I must have not.
And
I
Momo
must-
was third.
I must have been doing something else and not paying attention like
Yeah,
I
but
normally
smoking
do.
naked
Yes,
stuff.
Momo finished second, and Brain Fade brought in third place. I'll tell you, this is how great our sponsor is. We wanted to, we've been running this series since 2008. We run 10 races a week. We're actually off officially for 3 weeks because we take 2 weeks off, and we don't count the first race where we call that the meet and greet race. So there's a 3-week span between every 10-week series. This was this past season was the 35th season. So 10 races times 35 is 350 races, and that was a huge milestone in sim racing for any league or anybody to have that many races. That is a major accomplishment in a sim that is over 14 years old. So I go to the sponsor and I say, hey, this was the 350th race, and we would like to do something special. And Mark Heyman at drunkencowjerky.com, this is what he said. Tell me what you want to do, and we support you 100%. Now, that's what makes a great sponsor, and that
Love
is
you,
why
Mark.
we are proud to be associated with Drunken Cow Jerky. And so what we did is we got together and we put together a little package where the winner gets all 6 flavors of Drunken Cow Jerky. Second place gets 3 bags of their choice of Drunken Cow Jerky, and third place gets 2 bags. All together, you total all that up with shipping and the retail value of everything, that is well over $120 worth of prizes just for one race, just as a way to say thank you to all the people who come out and support our series on Saturday night. And like I said, a little bit of a celebration for reaching a milestone of 350 races. And it was a special event. You know, Saturday night's usually the team, or Saturday night is the team series, but we decided during the off week to celebrate this 350th race that we would all just, it's like I said in the post, it's a run what you brung, every man for himself. Top dog gets the prize, and I was fortunate enough to bring that 38 drunkencowjerky.com hot Chevy Camaro across the start-finish line. And I tell you, I had to. Here's the one thing about that win right there. Every win is special. Go to Talladega with this group of people right here, and you're fortunate enough, and I'm going to tell you, lucky enough to get a win. You have beat the best in the business. There is no doubt, because these guys come in and they get down to business every Saturday night at these super speedway races, and it is not an easy task to do. You got to have a lot of luck. You got to be up on that wheel every second of 104 laps at Talladega. That's not an easy task, and this will go down in the history books as one of my most favorite wins, because I had to battle some tough people, and one of them is in this room right now, and he is a threat every time we line up at a super speedway, and he gave me all I wanted and then some. And so congratulations, Momo. He had one little, I'll tell everybody, he had a legitimate shot there, and that one tiny mistake was my fortune, and that's where the luck came in. I got lucky that him and Brain Fade bobbled a little bit, because we were fighting on the last lap, going into turn 3, coming out of 4, headed to the checkers. The fight was on, and they bobbled just a little bit, and I was fortunate enough and lucky enough to be able to pull that win off, because had they not bobbled, we ain't sure what would have happened in that deal.
Yeah, you was lucky, and I was unfortunate. And Brain was there. He pushed me, or he hit me, but he hit me at the right angle that knocked me down onto the apron. I was like, damn, I got him. No, I don't. And you moved out the way because you knew I was under you, but it wasn't enough.
You're absolutely right. That's that's one of the hardest things to do is that I always say I would rather be the chaser than the chasee, because when you're in that position, you're kind of dictating the moves of what you're playing offense, and it is hard to play defense in the super speedway race like that, because it's a fine line that you have to work there, because playing defense and even the offensive side of that, when you got two cars battling for the win on the last lap, you know firsthand, Momo, a lot of times that can end up with both cars destroyed and nobody winning nothing except somebody else that passed you because those two dogs were up there fighting. And like I said, I was very fortunate and lucky enough to pull it off. Brain Fade had a great pit stop on the last pit stop. Great race, great green flag pit stops, just like it always is on Saturday night. I mean, that Super Speedway series is it's the best thing I've ever run
It's
in.
the
I
cream
mean,
of
it
the
is.
crop.
Yes, it is.
It brings everybody out that feels like they are the best of the best. And when it all boils down and all the green stops get done, everybody that's good is there at the end.
You
Now,
know, there were a
some
few other drivers.
Some of them have other issues, yes.
Yeah.
Some people lose gears.
There was a few of us that were
Some of
there
them
for
go to
most of that
sleep
race,
and
right
don't
up
wake
until
up.
the end. Right up until the end there, the very last pit stop, myself, SS Joba, and Hot Rod, that we were still up there with the leaders. And I had blown first gear earlier in that race, which was killing me coming out of the pits every single green flag pit stop. But SS was helping me out and giving me a bump, getting me up to speed. We were able to stay with that lead draft. And on that very last pit stop, there was a little bit of trouble. SS had a bit of a wiggle getting in there, and I believe he sideswiped Hot Rod a little bit, which made Hot Rod actually miss the pits and had to go around again, end up running out of fuel. You know, of course, me having no first gear, I got out of the pits extremely slow, and that bobble from SS also got him out of the pits extremely slow. So we ended up losing that lead draft with about 7 or 8 laps to go. And it was just the three of you guys up there to battle it out for those top 3 spots and who was going to get the most jerky.
Now, I tell you, this is one thing that you got to think.
I was trying to use brain.
Yeah, this is the one thing you got to think of, and this will put it into perspective for a lot of people who may not have ever experienced a level of competition like that. You go into a with a group of over 20 people, got an hour and 45 minutes of non-stop. I mean, every second counts, and you have an hour and 45 minutes to make 0 mistakes, because one mistake and that will relegate you to the bottom of the scoreboard as opposed to the top. You have to put together an hour and 45 minutes, 104 laps of absolute perfection to be able to pull that off. You have to have a lot of luck.
Rise to the top.
Yes, you have to have a lot of luck, but you have to be up on that wheel. You have to be thinking every minute, every move that you make is going to have consequences. And with the draft at these super speedway races and everything, your best friend 1 minute is your worst enemy the next, and you have to just battle. But the key to it is you cannot make any mistakes, because I can promise you, I have tried many, many times. Out of that 350 races, I've probably ran 348 of them, and I can tell you that's a tough thing to do, is to go in there and make 0 mistakes in an hour and 45 minutes of intense nonstop racing action.
Yeah, and not to mention all those green flag pit stops. You know, you have to nail every single one of those to be able to stay up there at the front, stay on that lead draft, and put yourself in position to bring home a win in one of these type of races. Especially, you know, it's one thing in the team series when you may have teammates that are going to maybe drop back, help you out, but in this kind of a race, it's everybody against everybody. You know, you may have some guys that work together early on, but when it comes down to those last pit stops, you got to be on the game. You got to be up there, and you got to make it happen. It's not gonna, you know, you got to do it. You got to do it for yourself in these races.
Ass pockets, too.
Well, and again, I want to thank Mark Heyman, Richard Heyman, all the fine folks down in Dallas, Texas at drunkencowjerky.com. Y'all go out and support a company that supports sim racing, that loves sim racing. We love drunkencowjerky.com. They have been the best thing that's ever happened to this league, and we couldn't thank them enough for the great prizes and support they give us. So go visit them, and I tell you, you're going to get to support a company that supports the hobby that we all love. But you're also going to get the best damn whiskey soaked, award winning beef jerky on the planet. I mean, there's
down.
none better.
Yeah, all natural, no preservatives added. It's not meant to have the kind of shelf life of that stuff you'll buy in most places. But being all natural beef jerky, like Pockets said, it's the best you will ever have. Pockets, why don't you share with us what you're going to do with your beef jerky that you won?
Don't
Well-
forget they got beef jerky for the kids for the.
Oh yeah, wolf bites. Yeah, wolf bites for your
I
dog.
couldn't even get it out.
For
Yeah, and-
kids, your dogs,
and
yeah,
for-
your kids.
For those
That's
of
it for
you
the
who have
kids.
never visited Drunken Cow Jerky, there is a link in the description box below that will take you straight to their website, and you can see everything they have. On top of all the great jerky, they've got some great pepper spice in there as well. A few other items that you can check out. Like I said, there's a link right below the video in the description box. And what are you going to do with that beef jerky, Pockets?
Well, as you know you know very well that you and we both stream our races on I stream on Facebook, you stream on YouTube, I stream on Twitch and Facebook, and we try to cover social media and the streaming platforms that are out there. And what Texan and I do is that we have a little program to where if we win, you win. That's how we give back to the people who come in and cheer us on, or just like watching sim racing and come in and support our streams. If we win a prize, they win a prize. And I had a guy in my stream last night, Don Nottingham, and I told him that Bob was in there. Bob had been fortunate enough to get some beef jerky from just watching the stream before. And I was fortunate enough to get a win, and Bob was gracious enough to say, hey, give that to somebody who had never had any before, because I've enjoyed some great Drunken Cow jerky. So I told Don that to message me and send me his information, and I would get that shipped out to him as part of the We Win, You Win program. Don actually said in the stream, he said, no, man, I'm good. I'm good. I just enjoy racing. But that offer still holds. If Don will message me, I will send him my prize. If he chooses not to, then I can assure you I'm going to enjoy it. because when we come up with that plan, that was a great plan, and I still love that plan. I really do. I really do love that plan. I think that just shows our willingness to get the word out there. It's a win-win for everyone, and contrary to what people may think, we're racers here, and everyone in this league, no matter from top to bottom, whatever, we have to race for every bag of jerky that we win. There is no complimentary samples. There's none of the, I've been fortunate enough to one of my league members and one of our fellow admins and my mentor gifted me some jerky. We gift each other jerky. We pass it back and forth to make sure everybody gets to enjoy some. But there are no freebies here. We race for that. That's a prize that Mark puts up, and we compete for that stuff. So when we very first started this program, I thought, but I still believe in that program. I still think it's a great program, and we're really we're happy to do that for the people that support us.
Can I say this?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark Heyman, Drunken Cow Jerky. I have won a lot of jerky, and I thank you very much.
Yeah, I've always said when I put that
I know
jerky
I'm
prize
an
up
ass.
there, that Momo,
That
he
bitty foal,
shows
that bitty
out.
foal coming.
He shows out. So yeah, we just think that's a great program, and we really enjoy it, and we love our sponsor, and we love the people that support us, and we have a great time, and that's the number one thing.
Absolutely. Now let's
Love you, killer.
Thank you, Momo. We love you too, man. Hey, let's check out Saturday night after the Super Speedway
Holla.
Series. We run the Boyles Trucking Truck Series. We are 3 races into this new series now. Now, last season was a fixed setup. This season,
User
we've
disconnected
moved
from your
on
channel.
to an open setup and a different mod. We used a cup mod last season. Now we're running the truck mod to go along with the Boyles Trucking theme and open setup, so you're able to tweak and change your setup before race and during race if you need to. 3 races in, it was myself, BSR Texan, who was able to bring home the victory at Pocono.
Yes, what a good win, Texan. Steve Looney got second, Robert Balcom third, Scar got fourth, and Rick Johnson rounds out the top 5.
Well, I tell you, that series right there, 3 races in, has really heated up. It's when we moved from fixed sets to open sets, what we consider from moving to the advanced level of this sim and open sets, it has really the competition level has really picked up, and it has produced some great racing like we seen there last night at Pocono. That's a big track. It's another very unique track, one of the most unique tracks on the schedule. And the 201 stakes his claim up there, right up there with the front runners, letting everybody know that he's going to be a factor this season. He's dedicated that Drunken Cow Jerky original truck to this series, and he blasted her into victory lane there. He's letting everybody know that he's there and he's for real. And these other guys, they're taking notice. And another great finish by Steve Looney, great racer, and he's putting himself up there. And this is these points been mixed up a little bit here the last couple of weeks, and that's going to continue as this series races around the country at these different tracks in trucks. And special thanks to Brian and Kathy Voiles over at Voiles Trucking, and again, support from DrunkenCowJerky.com to put on another series. This is the late night series where it's Saturday night, and we love to race, and Friday and Saturday night we race 2 separate races a night, 2 in the Voiles Trucking and 2 at Bomb Squad Racing. And that's just, it's the weekend and it's our time to shine, and we love to race, and we do it up. We call it the double. And we've got several drivers that come out every week and do the double, and it's a lot of racing, a lot of time spent, but it's a lot of good time spent and a lot of great racing. So we look forward to those races in the schedule coming up, and that's always a great time and a great series.
Yeah, and last night was no exception. That was a great race at Pocono. We had several green flag pit stops at this race. I had a good tough battle in there with Rick Johnson. I had some other good racing in there with Robert Balcom, and at the end, I had to race Steve Looney to get that win. And another great race by Steve. I think had he pitted on that last pit stop when the rest of us did. Now, he didn't have a lot of laps on his tires, but he did have a few laps, and I think that's really what made the difference. My tires were just a little bit fresher than his, and I did add a little bit of tape for that last little shootout there at the end. But yeah, like I said, great racing. I had a great battle with quite a few different drivers, and it was a lot of fun. Like you said a couple weeks ago, when I was showing off some of the trophies that I had won here from BSR, I've yet to add any of those Brian and Kathy Voiles trucking plaques to my collection, and man, I sure would like to get one of those, and I'm definitely dedicated to this series, and I'm going to give it my all. There's some great drivers, fast drivers in there, and it's not going to be easy, but I'm sure going to be going for it. I'll tell you that. Let's take a look at the points here.
Let's take a look at them.
After 3 races, it's very close. We've got a tie for the lead between myself and Robert Balcom, with Rick Johnson sitting there in third place, only 3 points back. BSR Scar in fourth, backed by 16, and BSR Brian Voiles, the sponsor of the series, in fifth place, down by 17.
Yeah, that right there, you just take a look at those points and see, you got tied at the top of the board. You got people close, and people are battling and fighting every week, and I promise you that's going to continue. Speaking of Robert, being tied with Robert there, I got some news earlier today. His dad's been under the weather, had to spend a little time at the hospital, but his dad's home and resting, and we've all been had Robert and his family in our thoughts and our prayers, and we're good to. It's we're very happy to see that hopefully he's on the road to recovery, and we just want to let Robert and his whole family know that we're thinking about him. We love the guys that support our series, and anything that happens in the real world is that's just like we consider these guys one of us. We get out on the track and we compete, and we race each other hard, and sometimes we argue, sometimes we fight, but I can assure you this: we care about every person that walks through the door of Bomb Squad Racing. And when something like that happens, we're truly concerned and hope nothing but the best for all of our friends and our racers. And just glad to hear a little bit of good news coming out of Nashville over there that Robert's dad's home and resting, and we continue to give his family our thoughts and our prayers.
Yes, glad to hear his dad's doing better.
Yeah, after 3 races, we have had 3 different winners. Robert has taken a win, Rick Johnson's taken a win, and I have taken a win in this series, and that's what's keeping those points so close up there in those top 3. 7 races to go in this series. Where are we going to be headed to next week in the Voiles Trucking Series?
Nowhere.
Next
We
week
are
is the
off.
holiday weekend. What about
Yes.
the week after that? Where's our next race in this series?
And we're going back to Canadian Tire.
Oh, so we'll all get another shot at HB. Hopefully you'll be able to make that race, HB. I see you out there in the chat. I know sometimes you've got work that gets in the way and you're busy with school, but we will be back at Canadian Tire, not this Friday, but next Friday in the Voiles Trucking Series. Hopefully you'll be able to make it, and we'll get another shot at you at that tough road course.
Now, see that you bring up a very important point there. I mean, he has to get up early and work on his schedule and everything like that. And here's where we're going to see if it's that he has to get up early, or if he's going to be willing to lose a little bit of extra sleep to get up on that road course like he loves to do. I'm pretty sure I know the answer to that. He would probably stay up all night and not get any sleep and go to work for 3 days straight to be able to get up on that Road America course. And that's our Canadian Tire. And that series, this series is one of the ones that Huggy drew out of the hat. And he took the list of all the tracks and he drew them out of a hat for the schedule. And that's one of the ones that he drew out of the hat. Just that, it's kind of crazy how this series came about with the tracks that we picked, because on Bristol week, where we were running Bristol on the Bomb Squad Racing DrunkenCowJerky.com series side, Huggy drew out Bristol for the Voiles Trucking Late Night Truck Series. And we just wrapped up the road course segment week of our, the little unique week that we just done in the DrunkenCowJerky.com side. And now we head back to Canadian Tire Motorsports. So that series on Saturday night has a little bit of everything for everybody. It's got short tracks, it's got super speedways, it's got road courses. That is a great series, great tracks, and it's going to be wild.
Did you say HB was in the text chat? Because I can't get it up on this
Yes.
drive.
Yeah, he is in the text chat. He's typing over there, and he did say that he'll definitely be there. He's not worried about work for CTMP. I'm sure if he needs to, take a nap in the afternoon and get up for that race and go back to sleep, you can still get all the sleep you need. But I know personally how HB feels about those road courses. I love them myself, and if there's a road course on the schedule, I'm going to do whatever it takes to show up for that race. I love them just as much as HB does. I may not be quite as fast as him at most of them, but I enjoy the challenge, and just trying to keep up with him is a lot of fun. So yeah, I can't wait for that road course to come up a couple of weeks from now.
Yeah, Hardy said in the chat that there was totally no bias in that drawing, and
Yeah,
I was gonna say, yeah, he videoed himself, unless he's some type of, and I know HB pretty well, but I'm pretty sure he's not no type of magician, because he filmed himself drawing that. The way he did that was he didn't just draw a track out of the hat. He drew the number on the schedule, the race on the schedule, then drew the track. He had two different hats going on. He had the video going on, and that was legit across the board. It was just interesting to see how that fell out.
Yes.
And you look at the schedule, and it was just a cool thing how it all worked out.
I need to get with HB. That's why I was asking if he was in the chat. So HB, sometime when you have some free time, I need to talk to you.
HB, report to the offices of Bomb Squad Racing as soon as.
Yeah, we'll be wrapping up here probably in about 15 minutes or so. So if you got time now, you may be able to meet here on TeamSpeak just as soon as we're done. Let's go and take a look at the bonus points, like we were talking about earlier. Truck is already in the chase. Cup was off this last week, so we don't need to, there's no update to those points. But the Xfinity Series has wrapped up, and we are going to be heading into the chase. Like I said earlier, Hot Rod and I spent a little time in TeamSpeak yesterday and tallied up everybody's races. As you can see, the Segment 2 top 5 box is in over there with Terry Scott taking the top spot in the 2 points. Chevy, Brain Fade, myself, and Hot Rod all also got 1 point for that segment. Over there in the full season top 5, Terry Scott again took the 2 bonus points for the top spot. Chevy Chase, myself, Brain Fade, and Pockets all also got a bonus point for that. And with all those points tallied up, points for wins, points for segments, points for Daytona, points for the All-Star race, as well as the attendance points, it was BSR Terry Scott with those 4 extra bonus points there for those 2 segments, ends up moving up into the lead heading into the chase with 30 bonus points. Then you've got BSR Chevy Chase and myself both tied for second with 29 bonus points, just 1 point behind Terry Scott. And then you got BSR Pockets and BSR Brain Fade both tied for third with 27 bonus points, just 3 points off the lead as we head into the chase. Now, after this first race at Darlington, you'll get your normal race points for the Darlington race, and then all these bonus points will be added to your race points, and that's where we'll stand at the end of race 1 in the Xfinity Series chase.
Yep, the chase for the DrunkenCowJerky.com championship. That's the Friday night championship.
Yeah, I counted this up earlier, and I believe there are about 14 drivers up there that are all over 20 bonus points. That's, if you're over 20, then you're within 9 points of the race lead going into the first race of the chase. And as well as those drivers that are all over 20, there are quite a few that are in the teens. So we're looking at 20 plus drivers that really have a legitimate shot to win a championship in this series. HB was at the top of this board before we added in the segment points and the overall race points. HB missed quite a few races this season, but he made quite a few of them as well. And if you look over there in the win box, he's got 5 wins, and those bonus points have really helped him out over there. HB currently sitting at 23 bonus points, just 7 points off the top spot. So, even after missing, I think he missed about 5 races in segment 2. I'm not sure how many in segment 1, but even after that, only 7 points off the lead. And as fast and as good a driver as HB is, if he's able to make all 10 of these races, I have no doubt that he's going to be right there. He's going to be the guy to beat. Terry Scott is sitting in that spot right now, and we know Terry's fast. He's usually pretty consistent. But like I said, there's a lot of drivers in there that have got a legitimate shot at taking home that Xfinity Series trophy at the end of the season.
Yeah, and fortunate for the other drivers that have to compete in that series with HB. I don't believe there's any road courses in the chase, are there?
Not in the Xfinity
Not in
chase.
the Xfinity.
There are some tough tracks though, like that Darlington.
Yes.
Darlington is tough for a lot of drivers. That's a hard track for me. I usually do okay there, but I'm one of the guys who kind of struggles a little bit at Darlington. And if you have a good race at Darlington, once you get these bonus points added in, you've got 9 races to go, and bad luck can set in for anybody. Any one of us can have a bad race, and you can lose a ton of points in one race if we get a good turnout. So, it's a long way to go for the end. But like I said, we've got at least somewhere close to 20 drivers with a legitimate shot. This is going to be, another great year, another great season of racing, and I can't wait to get into it.
Well, and like we've said before at Darlington, if you come into Darlington and say that you don't struggle at that track, you're not being honest. Everybody struggles there, and the one thing about that track, they call that the Lady in Black for a reason, because you can have a great race there, but you can be involved in somebody else's misfortune so fast it will ruin your night, and your car will be in the hauler exiting the track on the way to the next race on the schedule in the blink of an eye. So that is the one thing that everybody looks for. It's one of those races where you have to have the perfect combination of trying to be fast, but you have to race safe there. You cannot step one toe over the line or your night is finished at Darlington. So that's one of the reasons why it makes it such an exciting place to go and race. And another thing that I wanted to point out about this chase too, going to Darlington, what a great place, because you look at these bonus points, you look at the competition level and the people who have placed themselves firmly on top of the leaderboard. That is all fixing to change. Y'all take a good look at your little bonus points and all that standing stuff and everything, because the next time we show up on the spotter stand, that's all going to be different, and we are going to be firmly inside the last 10 races of the DrunkenCowJerky.com chase for the championship, and shit just got real.
That's right, and it's close right now, and I'm sure it's going to be close, even though things are going to definitely shake up after this Darlington race. We'll see who's going to be in the lead. If Terry Scott can hold on to that top spot through Darlington, maybe Chevy or myself will take that top spot, or if all 3 of us manage to finish outside the top 10 in that one race, Pockets, Brain Fade, HB. I see Momo's in there with 24 points. There's quite a few drivers who could move up to the lead after race number 1 of the chase in the Xfinity Series.
And everyone, please excuse my language. I'm just super excited about this, because this is what we've worked all year long. We have shown ever since the middle of February, and we are approaching the end of August, and we still have 2.5 months left of racing. We still have 10 more weeks of racing, and it all comes down to these last 10 races. All the work, all the successes, all the failures are going to be measured, added up, and there are no excuses. You have to perform in these last 10 races. If you don't, you won't win the chase for the DrunkenCowJerky.com championships in all 3 of these series. This is go time.
It's on.
I love go time.
It's green and it's good and it's on.
Well, let's take a few minutes here to thank all of our sponsors. Of course, we'd like to thank Mark and Richard Heyman over at Drunken Cow Jerky, Brian and Kathy Voiles from Voiles Trucking, Rick Craddock from Realtech LLC, BSR Scar from WLS Graphics, BSR RJ Rusty from the Medicine Chest Pharmacy, and BSR Tyler and Rhoda from Hello Sunshine Hello.
Hey, real quick, WLS Graphics, Tim Scarborough, Tim and Chris Scarborough over at WLS Graphics. I got a text earlier on my phone that said the DrunkenCowJerky.com shootout race last night, that they have decided to add an extra prize for the winner of that race. I don't know what it is. It's a surprise, but that's the kind of support we get from our sponsors. And you know, let me give you a quick example. Mark Heyman watches the streams, as a lot of people do, and he had noticed on the back of my car that I had my name on the back of the car. We call that the TV panel, and the view that I run puts the back of my car squarely in the middle of the screen. Well, Mark Heyman said he couldn't really see the website address. So I actually took a cue from your car, Killa, or Texan, that has the Drunken Cow Jerky logo right there on the back. I contacted Scar, Tim over at WLS Graphics. 3 hours before that race, he dropped everything he was working on and took care of me immediately. And I was able to put that new car with the Drunken Cow Jerky logo right there on the TV panel onto the track, and was fortunate enough to put it in victory lane last night. That's the kind of support that we get from WLS Graphics. I could not thank Tim enough for all that he does for this league. He is one of the main reasons that this league enjoys the success that it has.
Yeah, and pretty much all of the banners that you'll see, all of the logos for the different series, all of the renders that you see here on the spotter stand, BSR Scar from WLS Graphics puts all of that stuff together. I'm able to come on Sunday afternoon before the spotter stand, and he's got all those renders up there for the entire week. I'm able to save all of those and get them onto the spotter stand for you. We really appreciate all the hard work that Scar puts in for us. He does a lot of work for us, you know, not just doing the logos and doing the streams, but painting cars as well. You know, I'd like to throw out a mention to BSR Wings, who's also painted a ton of cars for drivers here at BSR. You know, BSR Hot Rod has also painted quite a few cars, as well as all the help he pitches in with the spotter stand and making sure the points are all up to date and correct for everybody. You know, and I'd like to thank you, Pockets, for, you know, all the help you give us, not only here on the spotter stand, but everything you do all week with all the posts, all the emails, just keeping things in line, keeping things running. You know, without all of the great drivers and everybody, all the admins, everybody we have that helps to pitch in, really keeps everything in this league running nice and smooth. You know, I couldn't ask for a better place to race. Not only are all the drivers, you know, great drivers, good people, but like I said, all the admins, everybody that pitches in, really keeps things going nice and smooth, and absolutely awesome racing here at BSR.
Yeah, and I want to add something real quick, and I appreciate those words, Killa. It's that right there is why that I would do anything for the racers that race here. And I want to also thank everybody that races here, and I want to personally tell everyone that there are some things that we do here that may seem unconventional. Some people may even say they might be unfair, but I will tell you this. We've been doing this for a long, long time. We know all the ins and outs. We see things that most people will not see that could create problems down the road. And the things that we do here are for you guys that come in here to have a good time, have great, clean, fair competition, and that there is no controversy and no bullshit in here like you see out in the other sim leagues and the so-called community. It does not happen here. And that is why we do the things we do. We do it for you so that you have a good place to race and you always know you'll be treated fairly. And no matter whether you're here or out in the social media forums or wherever, we don't play that bullshit.
Yeah, you
Come in
won't.
here, you're going to be treated fairly, and we're going to make sure you're treated fairly. And if you want to be involved in that drama, feel free, but you ain't bringing it in here.
Yeah, you won't see anybody from BSR posting anything publicly in any public forums or on Facebook or anything like that, trashing another league or trashing another driver. There may be some animosity and people have butted heads here and there, but even still, you won't see these drivers posting publicly trashing another driver from another league or another league. That's just not cool. We don't do that. You know, whether there's guys out there that, you know, we've had run-ins with and some people don't like other people, that, you know, that's fine, but you won't see anybody here posting public stuff about other leagues or other drivers. There's lots of other places out there to race. But like Pocket said, we like to not bring that drama in here. And if it ever is brought in here, it's usually cut short pretty quick. And that's what makes the racing so great. Everybody on TeamSpeak gets along, and we have a great time every night and every week. And I could not think of a better place or any other place that I would want to race. Like I said before, I appreciate BSR Pockets, BSR Hot Rod, Brain Fade, Scar, Wings, Chevy Chase, all of the admins who pitch in here and do their part, and everybody makes this place run nice and smooth. And I have a great time every night in TeamSpeak. Whether I win a race or I get wrecked out, I still have a good time, and I love racing here.
That right there is why we've been here ever since they turned this sim on in 2004, and we plan on being here for as long as it can. I'll tell you this, whenever this sim is over, we will be the one that turns the lights off. Bam!
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen for a long time to come. It's been a
won't.
long road. This sim's been out for a long time, and you know, a lot of drivers still love it. I know I'll race this game for as long as we can. As long as there's a version of Windows that supports it, or I have an older PC that'll run it, I'll keep racing this game as long as there's somebody out there to race with.
We've been here this long. We've got too much invested to leave now. Great show, guys. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see y'all next week. Holla.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Great seeing everybody. Catch us later.